thanks for joining me for this chat today. What I'd
Hello,
like to
Andy.
do today is find out a little bit about VentoNuovo games and what you're working on and what you've done in the past as well. Okay. So first of all, can you tell me where the name VentoNuovo came from?
Oh, well, VentoNuovo means new wind. So the idea behind is that to bring some innovation into the game industry, not only in terms of quality, customer service, but also in terms of values. And wind, because we are committed to quickness. So we don't want to lag for 10 years to deliver a game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I've seen that. Your turnaround from announcing a game to publishing it does seem very, very quick and very speedy. So,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's the idea, because when we start talking about a game, it means that we are almost ready for production.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how many games do you have available at the moment? What is your current product line?
I do believe we have more than 10 and roughly 100 items in the store, because each game sometimes has several accessories such as UberText map, icon stickers, and so on.
Yes, I've noticed that you don't simply publish the game, you have lots of products associated with the game. That is quite different. Some publishers do it occasionally, but it seems to be a key part of your marketing strategy.
Yeah, because I do believe that the setting where you play the game is very important. So the better you feel when you play a game, the better you perform when playing the game. So sometimes adding nice counters or extra stuff such as draw bags or wall bags or even a t-shirt may really expand your gaming experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that in the Anglo-Saxon world, houses are much larger than in Italy. And so that was the idea when we started. So to bring every game to a larger dimension to expand the gaming experience.
Right, right. And you seem to specialize in World War II. Would that be a fair thing to say? And if so,
Yeah.
what's the reason for that?
Well, mainly because I have been reading and studying literature on World War II since when I was a child. And so I have the chance to read several reserve documents from the Italian and the Soviet army. And so I enjoy World War II a lot. By a history point of view, of course. Then war is always a tragedy.
Yes, yes. Okay, so it's your personal interest, it's where you've got the passion, and that's how you put that passion into the games, which I guess you have to have. You must work an incredibly long time to get the turnaround of games from concept to publication that you do.
Oh yes, this is our job. So it is not a sort of hobby that we do on a couple of hours on Saturday. This is our daily job,
right.
Even if we work on Saturday and Sunday as well. But because we like drawings, we like check colors, we like compare shapes, we like to develop and employ new technology.
Right, right, and that's quite rare, isn't it? Having I believe you're effectively a one-man band, one man and a cat from conversations we've had before, which isn't uncommon in our hobby for a publisher to be a cottage industry. But you actually make your living through the games. This is your main income, and that is unusual.
Yeah, but to tell you the truth, I don't need too much money to live, because I have just only one vice.
Yes, you really should stop that. I've told you before. So I believe you've currently got a Kickstarter underway.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that game?
Sorry, I missed you for a while.
Okay, I understand you have a Kickstarter underway at the moment. Can you tell us a little bit about that game?
Oh yeah, we have a Kickstarter for the expansions of 2 games we have published a couple of years ago, I guess, which are Black Swan and Orange Swan. They depict the World War II in Europe and the Pacific, respectively. And after we developed and published the game, we wanted to add some extra details and units and what-if situations to include, for example, the chance to involve neutral minor countries into the war, such as Turkey and Spain and Sweden, so those countries that never joined the war, but also the chance to influence neutral minors in a way, in a unhistorical way. So it is now up to players. It is more like a sandbox. I mean, I don't like the idea of sandbox because it is not exactly that. But let's say that Italy can influence Greece to get Greece into the war as a minor ally, because as by our extensive research, we have discovered that the idea that Mussolini was crazy to attack Greece is probably suggests us that is a product of post-war propaganda, because the attack on Greece was led by a series of situations. The main of that was that Greece did not accept Italian request in September 1940. And so in the end, Italy had no choice to except to invade Greece. So it is a matter of reliving history, but with the correct literature, not using just propaganda. It is like Hitler attacking the Soviet Union. It was not mad.
Mm-hmm.
He had his reasons.
Okay, that's good to get a new perspective on the on history, and a lot of what wargaming is about the opportunity to relive and hopefully change history as well. And this Kickstarter, when does it end?
I don't remember, but I guess it is February 8th.
Okay, so not long now.
No, in a couple of weeks.
If they're interested, they should jump on the Kickstarter site and
yeah. And talking about these 2 games, I really love both them because they are new in the mechanics, because of the strategic umbrella, because of the random entry of reinforcements, something similar to what our friends of Australian Design Group made for World in Flames. And there is a innovative combat system based on class and mandatory retreat. And now there is also the option to influence neutral countries. So I guess it is a really exciting game.
Great. And I believe the next title we can expect to see from VentoNuovo is Blitzkrieg. Sorry, Blitz in the East. Is that right?
Yes.
I'm really interested in that game. I'd like to know a fair bit more about that if you'd share it with us. What is the scope of the game?
The scope of the game is to allow players to replay World War II in Russia. So from the beginning of Operation Barbarossa in June 41 till the end, whatever it is. Might be Moscow or in Berlin, but applying both a historical settings, and a speed of play. Mind that when we talk about speed of play, we are not talking about playing the War in the East in half an hour.
Right. That was going to be my next question. When you talk about speed of play, what sort of play duration are we talking about?
Yeah, let's talk about that, because all the games we develop use new mechanics. So they are not just a copy and paste of old mechanics developed in the 70s. So if you are new to the way we make game working, they will take probably some time to get away, because the main effort we put is in logistics. So if you focus on tactically manage a strategic game, you will find yourself short of resources in the long term. If instead you apply a long-term management, let's say a logistic management in a strategic game, you will win. So this is probably the first thing you have to change in your mindset if you want to play our games, because the scope of our games is to depict a campaign lasted years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to micromanage the campaign with a single battle, with an artillery there instead of an infantry, well, that's cool, that's pretty good. But you should start with the logistics. So you should ensure that you have all the resources, line of communication, radar, harbors, connected to each other, working, so not wrecked, because we have the option to wreck it. And don't forget to convert Russian radar to European gauge, because
Right. Yes. Yeah.
they have been using different gauges. So I have seen many questions sometimes about our games, and they tend to be very tactical, trying to understand a single detail of the gear. I would say that it works in the other way around. So try to accept that you have to prepare your logistics system to afford a long war of attrition. So start stockpiling manpower, oil, food, ammo, whatever, and then manage them carefully. Don't apply the concept of harvesting whatever you have without a hope for tomorrow.
Yes, it's all about the long-term planning.
Yeah, that's a consumistic approach that is not workable in warfare.
Okay, but you've avoided my question. How long do you think the game would actually take to play?
This is a hard question, because in the game there are sudden victory. So, for example, a game in theory could really last half an hour. But between competent players, it would probably last a couple of hours, or even 20 hours if they are playing the long campaign and they know exactly the system, so their gameplay is balanced, they are not taking any risk, they are keeping a defense in depth, they are managing their reserves, they stockpile, and so they are not throwing up front whatever they have in the hope they quickly overwhelm the enemy, because this is not a battle in a single spot. So the more you employ in a single spot, the more you will deplete the other spots.
Sure. So you have a campaign game which, with careful play, could take 20 hours, but you also have shorter scenarios for a couple of hour game, an afternoon game.
Yes. In theory, we have 4 scenarios in the game, and one is very short, and one in theory is very long. But as said, you have sudden death. So if one of the player makes a major mistake and the other player is able to get advantages from that, the game could last half an hour or 2
Sure.
hours.
Sure. Okay. And you've talked about the logistics, and that's obviously a very important part of this game. Are there any other significant new mechanics in the game? And if so, how are they developed? How do they work?
I just missed one word in the last part of your sentence.
I'm sorry. So logistics are obviously an important part of this game. Are there any other novel new mechanics that you've developed? And if so, what are they and how do they work?
Well, the main mechanic, we have several features. For example, we have separate production lines for goods and oil. So you should try to increase your production throughput, capturing enemy factories and mining centers and oil fields intact, so before they are scorched earth by the other player. And in case they are, then you have to repair them before they start working. The Soviets can easily evacuate their factories to Siberia. So you should, as the Germans, quickly advance to avoid that Soviet factories are evacuated by rail. And the other feature is superiority, because this game is managed by an attrition engine that quickly resolves each turn. The attrition engine is somehow similar to the system employed by Third Reich, but we have...
Is this the Avalon Hill Third Reich?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Well, I have loved Third Reich. I know it is an old game, but when I was a child, that was one of the first games available in Italy. And so with friends, we have been playing Third Reich a lot. Also because it was in English, and we at the elementary school had the chance to learn English using a game. So using the Collins dictionary to check words we were not aware of. So it was a learning session into a gaming session. So yes, the attrition system is somehow similar to that employed by Third Reich, but we have added features called superiority. So you have a benefit by having either or both air and armor superiority. So you can have shift in the attrition column by having more armor than your enemy or more air than your enemy.
Right. Okay.
And each turn is based on a quick attrition turn. But if you have stockpiled enough resources, then you can probably put in play a blitz attack to quickly make a gap in the front line, exploit the gap, and encircle the enemy. But that's a matter of your stockpiling, because a turn throughput will probably not allow you to play a blitzkrieg each turn.
Yeah.
Then we have several other systems that are the way the retreat and disorganization of the units work. We have a ZOC, which affect both retreat, recovery, and production cost. So all these features that might seem complicated are included in the engine, and we have a limited amount of pieces because we have in total 65 combat units, I guess, including the Finns, the Italians, the Romanians, and the Hungarians. And you have to really perfectly manage all the background of your game. Again, if you are looking for a tactical game, this is not the game for you. This is a game for managing logistics, production, supply lines, communication lines, and so on.
Okay, and that may have answered my last question, which was why another East Front game from VentoNuovo? Because you've done them in the past. Was it primarily to present this logistics side of the equation, or were there other reasons that you wanted to do another East Front game?
Oh, well, our challenge, we have made several East Front games, you are right. But for example, Stalingrad was mostly a simple tactical game played over the new map of the city we draw using reserved documents. And so that was linked to the historical research of the real map of Stalingrad. And then we have other series that use a different scale. This one employs an army scale, which we never used, but we also wanted to apply the new research we have conducted during the last decade into this system. You know, now we have a lot of documents available that were not in the 60s. And
cool. Okay. And when would we expect to see Blitzkrieg in the East available for? I assume you'll put it on Kickstarter. But when would you expect the campaign to launch?
We already had the Kickstarter campaign funded, and I do believe we can release the game this May. So it is currently in the production line.
Excellent. Right. Very soon. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Emanuele, for the chat. I'm really looking forward to seeing the game in available for purchase. And I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Andrew.
Bye, Emanuele. Uncut. Do you